Kumari, and I welcome all of you to our post-lunch session. Well, having explored the broader challenges and opportunities surrounding water and food security, ladies and gentlemen, we now turn our attention to practical experiences and innovative approaches that are transforming irrigation management across the world. We now move from dialogue to practice, exploring how nations and institutions are advancing smart irrigation management for a more resilient future. Welcome to our plenary session on the theme Global Smart Irrigation Management Practices. Well, please join me in welcoming our first speaker. The title of our first presentation is A Government Initiative Towards Efficient Water Use in Agriculture, Modernization of Command, Area Development and Water Management. And I'm very pleased to invite on our dais for the presentation Shri Yogesh Paithankar, Member CWC, India. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a very senior CWES officer with decades of experience. He contributes to national water planning, project evolution, and policy formulation. We are looking forward to be benefited from his vast and very rich experience. Mr. Yogesh Paithankar.
Very good afternoon to everyone. So my presentation, if you remember, during the inaugural session, my secretary talked about one of the programs which we have launched very recently regarding the modernization of irrigation command area project. This project has been given a name of Samruddhi. Samruddhi means prosperity. So the Honorable Prime Minister of India, which he has given a vision to all of us, that by 2047 India should become a developed nation. So with that aim only, this scheme has been devised. Currently it is a pilot scheme, and once for 1 year, once it gets succeeded, then of course we have a plan to go in for on a very large scale. This is the whole idea. So I'll be talking about what exactly we are doing in this scheme, which the whole purpose is to improve the efficiency of the efficient water use in agriculture, the whole idea. And of course, we are doing a pilot project in every state government, with the state government, every state government all over the India, so that because India is a very vast country and we have different agroclimatic zones also. So once we get an experience where it's really successful there, accordingly we can change, or based on the experience, then we can devise a big scheme. So next. Okay. So in India, if you see the almost agriculture uses, or somebody talks of 80%, somebody talks of 85%, but it's more or less around that. A major part of our fresh water is being utilized in agriculture sector, and the water productivity is very low. And normally in the whole system, the tail end farmers, they never get the water. That is a general problem in all over the irrigation projects in our country. And of course, earlier we used to have a 1974, we started a command area. In India, the irrigation project generally they end up at 40 hectares, which we call it as from a minor or from a distribution system. We get an outlet, and below that we do the command area development program. That is the channels which the farmers take to their different fields. From the water starts from there. So this scheme is going on since 1974, and more or less we have seen that it has failed to a large extent. The farmers were at the tail end were never able to get the water. nor the system was in, it's extremely in bad shape. That is what has been experienced. So now to improve the productivity and as well as the improve efficiency, this scheme has been started. Yeah. So what I was talking about, the CAD program, which was launched in 1974, and then subsequently we started. Yeah. So in 2016, already there was one big scheme that is what we call it as a PMKSY, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, that is called, under which there is a program of accelerated irrigation benefit program. The whole idea of that program was that the large number of irrigation projects which the state government have started, we wanted to give them a financial help so that they can quickly complete this project. And along with that, we prioritized 85 projects which were to be implemented simultaneously, command area development. But then since we found that there was not much success in that scheme, so this scheme has been launched in 2025 as a pilot scheme with the introduction of modern infrastructure, technology and governance model. So I'll be talking about what exactly it is. So this is a scheme under which we'll be extensively using pipe distribution network. The problem in our country is that it is very difficult to get the land nowadays. It has become very expensive. Farmers are not ready, and the holdings are also very small holdings. So the farmers are not ready to give the land. So now we are going, and plus through PDN we will get a lot of efficiency also. There will be very loss of water also will be very less. And of course it is a time bound, and the distribution will be equitable. That's the whole idea of this scheme. This is the vision of this scheme. Now, core action, what we have planned in this scheme is, it is basically a cluster-based approach. The command areas are divided from 50 to 5,000 hectares. It depends on the project to project. And of course, the whole system will be handed over to Water Users Society. The scheme is to be made as self-sustainable. That is the whole idea of this model. After a certain period of time, we want that the Water Users Society, that is the farmers, they should run the scheme. So we have like piped irrigation network, then participatory governance, which we have a Water Users Society where the women will be also participating. And they will be integrated with farmers producers organization also, so that whatever they produce, it can be easily sent to the market for. And then irrigation as a service. This is one of the most important thing which we are, so far our whole scheme was supply based. Now we want to go in as a service, that is a demand based management system. So initially what we are doing is, for implementation of this entire system, pipe distribution, including the pressurized distribution, and we are going for appointing a contractor who will be doing all this work, and he'll be there for 5 years and hand-holding with the Water User Society how to run the whole system. That is the duty of the contractor. And of course, we'll be using the latest technologies like IoT, SCADA, satellite data, of course, for monitoring also. And of course, the whole idea is that we should improve the water use efficiency. So after the outlet, like we'll be taking the pipe up to the each farm, outlet will be given at the each farm level. And then there with the pressure, they can utilize it for micro irrigation. Then there will be water accountability, accounting will be done. So every drop of water which is taken out either from the canal or from the river or from the pond, whatever is the source, from there to the end, we'll know how much water has been utilized and how much has been lost. So that entire accounting will be carried out. And then, of course, the management reforms are there. They already spoken about water users society and irrigation as a service. So it was launched in 2025 with 1600 crore as an outlay. And of course, the phase one, initially it was supposed to be completed by 2026. But now we have extended this program to September 26. And the target, of course, is on-farm water efficiency to 75%. This I already talked about. Then the DDR, before we award a work to any contractor, there is we have appointed consultants also who are preparing the DDR also, and detailed reports based on the survey and everything. And once it is accepted by the state government, then only. And before starting of the work, what we have done is that you have to appoint water user society. Then only the work can be started, because that hand holding has to be done with them, with the water user society, when they are actually implementing all the, so that after 5 years, when the contractor is with them, after 5 years, they will be able to take on that entire scheme and run on a self-sustaining model. So the water rates, I mean the water cess also will be collected by them only, and then they, using that money, they will utilize and they will run the system. And one-time grant we are giving some 50 lakh rupees to the society as a corpus, so that will help them to run the scheme in long term. These are the structural components. Of course, we have a 3-tier system for running this scheme. Already I have mentioned about all these things, cluster-based model. And this already I have, like there is steering and monitoring framework which we have divided. One is at the national level, so currently I am heading that. And the state level, there is steering committee, which is at the state chief secretary level. And then we have gone up to the district level, where we have got the collectors and the local bodies, and all those are involved in day-to-day running of the system, or when they are implementing the system. Then we are integrating with other schemes also, like parallelly there are many multiple schemes with the Government of India runs also. So we are trying to link it with that also, like solar pumps for energy efficiency. There is one program of PM Kusum. So wherever we are to lift the water, there we are trying to link it with that Kusum, so that solar pumps can be energized. Similarly, MGNREGA, now the name of course has been changed. And there are many other schemes also which we are. So these are the clusters spread all over the India. And except West Bengal, Uttarakhand and Andaman Nicobar, all the states have been given one each, and almost 38 clusters are there, and area we are covering is 71,858 hectares. So if you see, the outcome of this scheme will be like almost 80,000 farmers will be beneficiaries, and direct beneficiary will be around 4 lakhs. And the Make in India boost, which often our Honorable Prime Minister speaks about, so that is one of the, and water energy saving will be there. And cultural growth engine, of course, cluster-based approach promotes one cluster, one crop, enhancing productivity, market linkages, and food security. So the whole idea is that this, of course, I have already spoken. So in the end, what I mean to say is that with the growing population, as you know, that today the people were talking about data centers coming up, because India is going in a big way in IT area, and we'll be having a lot of data centers, which also consumes a lot of water also. So with the vision of 2047, when we want to have a $30 trillion economy and 20 to 25,000 dollars per capita income, I mean, that's a good vision. We'll see what happens by 2024. So with that aim, if you see the almost 85% of our water is going towards agriculture sector. And when we go in for large scale industrialization and then our more urbanization will happen. So naturally we have to improve our efficiency here. And water has to be diverted to the other sectors where there will be demand. So with this, all this keeping in mind, this scheme has been launched, and we want to modernize our system also so that the population also will grow up and the eating habits will also change. So with this, and we want to have a food and energy security also. So I think this will be, once if we find it successful, because the current infrastructure which we have already created large, huge infrastructure in irrigation sector, but it's in a very bad shape, extremely poor. So if you want to improve all the system, so this is one of the pilot. I think once we succeed in this, we'll try to, the Honorable Prime Minister, in fact, has given this 1600 crore rupees, not as it has been given under a special scheme. And he has already indicated that once you implement, it has to be ensured that there is a source sustainability, which we, in fact, this Jal Jeevan mission, where the drinking water supply was given to each and every villages, there we found that nobody did a proper survey whether it is a source sustainable or not. So this time it was very exclusively told by the Prime Minister as well as our Minister that before you identify any site where you are going to implement this scheme, you have to ensure that there is a source sustainability. So that was all done by our Central Water Commission, each and every cluster, and then only that cluster was finalized. So once, of course, we succeed in this, then it is planned to have an even bigger scheme than the Jal Jeevan mission. That is the size of the thing which we are seeing. So there is going to be a huge scope for the pump industry and then the pipe industry and so many other, and of course the IT. Keeping in this mind, I think all the state government as well as the central government will have to think to change their own organizations also, keeping in mind the new technologies which are likely to come. So we have to change our recruitment patterns and whatever all the reorganizations, everything we'll have to do it, keeping in mind the future which we are looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paithankar, for sharing very valuable insights into how modernization and efficient water management can enhance agricultural productivity and sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, I also request, since we have a very full and very exciting agenda ahead, I also request all our speakers to kindly keep their presentations within 10 to 12 minutes so that we are able to keep the timeline for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Shri Vivek Kapadia. He is former Secretary, Government of Gujarat, and Director SSNNL, a civil engineer with expertise in water resources, and he now serves as Professor of Practice at IIT Gandhinagar. Well, his topic for presentation is Object-Oriented Irrigation Management. I invite Mr. Vivek Kapadia for his presentation, sir.
So very good afternoon to all. This title looks a bit out of the box, but the context that I must provide you in order to appreciate how this phraseology has been selected for the irrigation management. We were drafting a background paper for the WIF4 Malaysia conference, me, Isbrand, and Amal Talbi. And the point that was coming as a common thread of discussion, that procedures are overarching the objectives in the irrigation management, and that's the real root cause of the crisis that is prevailing in the irrigation management. And that's why our efficiencies are going low. Our organizational structures are getting rickety over a period of time. And now the situation has been as good as, an anarchy prevailing over the management. So what could be the solution? So the background paper was fine, that was sailing through, and now it is going to be published in the Irrigation and Drainage. But here, then, I started thinking over as to what could be the solution for this. How can the procedures being overarching over the objectives could be reversed? It should be the objectives to be prevailing over the objectives to be prevailing over the procedures and not the other way around. So how to, change the sequence, putting the horse before the cart instead of the other way around. Then, my earlier learnings in the computer science came to my help. There, in the olden days, we were taught the importance of the modular and structured approach in the computer programming. We were taught that, working from whole to part, and then deriving the solutions at the part level and then integrating them from part to whole. And then we were taught the Marvin Minsky's famous statement, at times, integration of all the solutions of the all parts may be greater than the whole itself. And that is how we were, taught to implement the modular and structured approach. Then came an era of the OPS, object-oriented programming systems. There we were taught that, why to go for, exclusive coding and exclusive databases. Whatever limited data is required to be availed to the codes or the modules of the codes should be provided with. And that's how, entire river is not required to be brought to your home. A single pot or a big water bottle is all enough to sustain your family for the whole day. So that was the concept we were taught. And I thought, this is going to be more valid to the irrigation management in the given time. The same way as a student of management, I was taught that, management by objectives, MBOs, what's the importance and what are the consequences. So that is how, I thought that irrigation management is also requiring some kind of overhauling. So, yeah. So these are the benefits of, the object-oriented programming in the computers. And then, the object-oriented data models also came into the computer science. The similar benefits, we can derive in our systems as well, in the management system. So what is the difference between the procedure-orientedness and the object-orientedness? So object-orientedness is quite different from the modular and structured approach that has been hitherto taught to us in the irrigation management. The problem is divided into various types of self-content blocks. Self-content, that is the keyword over here. And that is called the objects. So inter-se communication and references, mismatch or collision resolution, and repetitive usage of the procedures are minimized, and that's why we improve the efficiency. So this is the philosophical plane. What is today we are doing is multilateral controls are there in our irrigation systems like this. The reservoir operation is the beginning point, and then all the controls translate to conveyance systems, then the water accounting comes into picture, then from conveyance systems to distribution system, and then from there the on-farm application. But this is how the multilateral controls are prevailing in our today's irrigation management systems. If we try to understand the objectives of each of the modules, that is the reservoir operation, the conveyance systems, then the distribution systems, and then the on-farm applications, then the objectives could be enumerated like this. The reservoir operation could have main objectives like these: conveyance systems, distribution system, water accounting system. Water accounting system, albeit, is an embedded system, not an exclusive one, but still, from management point of view, it has to be thought over as an exclusive element in the entire system. And the on-farm application, it's called an extended element in the entire management system. It is called, a agricultural science application, whereas here it is the water science applications. So efficiency is basically an embedded, all-pervasive, cross-cutting objective into all these objectives of all the modules. Now here, I objectivized all the procedures and remodeled all the operation modules. So this is the reservoir operation module. These are the objectives. This is basically a non-hierarchical sort of a control protocol communication systems. This is the entire system for the conveyance. Whatever are the soft controls, they are the dotted lines, and they are basically interacting in the cross-capsule mode. So this is how the object-orientedness comes into our management systems. Here it is the distribution system in which, the hierarchy is now no more working. What are counting is into a staff function, not in a line function. The same way the on-farm application, it's a bit altogether a different ball game, I know, but still the same principles would be holding good over there. Here, though the domain of agriculture management or on-farm management is having demand management as the main objective, the same ball game can be applied over here. So here with this, I end up with this kind of ideation level, a dialogue over here on the object-oriented irrigation management systems, system and subsystems, both. What are the benefits that we are intending to accrue out of this transformation? I'm not saying that the olden systems or the antiquated systems are required to be completely scrapped and new systems are to be overloaded on it. Only remodeling of the existing systems are all enough for this purpose. So the functional units are small, internal communication is towards the respective objectives. That is the biggest advantage. Hierarchy is nowhere there, and where there is no hierarchy, the reporting is a staff function. It's not a line function. I'm talking some languages of the management, kindly bear with me. Performance of each functional unit is defined and measurable. That is again a benefit that we are going to accrue out of this. Then the domain expertise is best utilized. And here we are lacking. Domain expertise is not allowed to work in the irrigation management at all, which is extremely required, and that is what here it is given the due importance. Then communication across the functional units is limited but meaningful. So communication has not to be thrown in every nook and corner. Communication has to be in a well-structured manner, in a limited domain, in extremely focused manner. Otherwise, it will be simply what you can say spilling the beans. Integration of performance of all the functional units lead to overall objectives, and that is the real benefit. Decision makers can better focus on overall objectives rather than going into the nitty-gritty of the procedural aspects, and that is how they can more productively deliver their functions. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kapadia, for highlighting the importance of reimagining irrigation management through innovation and practical governance. Ladies and gentlemen, from India, we now move to Japan for perspective on creating resilient futures through sustainable water management and collective action. Well, Professor Dr. Sugihiro Watanabe is Vice President Honorary of ICID from Japan with 45 plus years in agriculture, water management, and paddy irrigation. He is a leading researcher on hydrological cycles, environment, and carbon neutrality in rice systems. And his topic of his presentation is Water for Resilient Futures from Crisis to Collective Action. Professor Dr. Sugihiro Watanabe.
Distinguished guests, my colleagues of the ICID and my water friend all over the world, and ladies and gentlemen, so I'm quite happy to be here to participate in this excellent summit. Also, it's my honor to have the opportunity to provide my talk here. I appreciate the ICID Central Office led by Secretary General Dr. Gupta. Today's title of my presentation is quite general. But today I would like to share 3 key messages. The first, water is at the center of the global risk. The second, fragmented governance is our biggest barrier. And third, integrated approaches offer practical solutions. Almost same topic I had presented in the Istanbul International Water Forum, held in the last month. I participated in it with our president, Dr. Marco Cherry. There, I provided only the core part of my, so I'd say, idea. But today, I would like to introduce evolution of integrated river-based management in Japan. I try to introduce this, our challenges very briefly. We often speak of the water crisis as a future risk, but in reality, the crisis is already here. Floods, drought, storm, and the landslide, these disasters are intensifying. Water-related disasters now account for the majority of the global disaster impact. The water is no longer just a resource issue, it is security issues and governance issues. Water risks affect economics, food systems, ecosystems, and social stability. Despite this urgency, our responses are still fragmented. We see policies divided by sectors, institutions working in silos, and mismatches between river basins and political boundaries. However, water does not follow administrative borders. Flood and droughts occur at the basin scale. So we face a fundamental mismatch. We are trying to solve basin scale problems with fragmented systems. This is the core governance challenge. Let me share some insights from Japan. Japan has developed an approach based on integrated river basin management. This approach combines the flood control, water use, and the environmental management with a single coordinated framework. We call this integrated river basin management for all, All means all stakeholders, all sectors, and all phases from the preparedness to recovery. There are several important elements. First, basin-wide coordination. Upstream and downstream areas work together, recognizing shared risk. Second, integration of the measures. We combine engineered infrastructure, such as dams and levees, with nature-based solutions, such as wetlands and floodplains. The third, the multi-level governance, national government, and local authorities and communities collaborate closely. Before we establish this integrated river basin management, we have started to implement the basin flood management. The flood management, so conventionally, we did only on the river system itself, and also river bank and some spots. It's a point and line measures. But we need the integrated, measures, in all over the basins, integrated all catchment areas. Then the basin flood management consisted of three major components. The measure to prevent and reduce flooding as much as possible. And second one is measure to reduce the numbers of the affected area and potential victims. And third one is measures to mitigate damage and ensure early recovery and reconstructions. Okay. Based on this, we, so I'd say, developed integrated river basin management. In the integrated river basin management for all, so I would like to introduce some of the, say, challenges or some the kind of the aspect. For example, we do flood control simultaneously with water use. We have many reservoirs. As you know, in Japan, we have the possible flood and possible drought. So in the same seasons, mainly in the summertime, there are many reservoirs has the only one purpose, the main purpose. But if we have the very precise prediction of the rainfall, we can operate the reservoirs very, very sophisticatedly. For example, flood control dam, if we do not have the heavy rainfall in the coming weeks, we can store the water for the water supply. Also, the reservoirs for water supply, if we have the precise prediction, the rainfall which does not occur, which will projected in the rainfall, heavy rainfall. If heavy rainfall is projected, the water capacity, the water storage water could be released for accept flood in the coming days or the coming weeks. The kind of the very sophisticated operation we can do. Also, flood control with the river basin environment. We have retarding the pond or the areas. It could be used for the habitat for the wildlife, mainly for the migrated bird. Also, we can change the diversion point to reduce the energy. For example, our cities is located in the downstream of the basins. They diverted water from the downstream with pumping. But if we divert and upstream, then we can distribute the water with gravity. We can reduce the energy for diverting the waters. But it causes some decrease of the flow of the river. It might affect the wildlife or the ecosystem of the river stream itself. Then we can coordinate. We should coordinate that. But kind of the issues that we should organize the integrately. In the flood, the basin level flood control, the irrigation facilities could be used for the flood control. For example, as I told, the reservoirs for the irrigation could be used for the flood control. Okay, in the rainy seasons, the water could be released with the higher, precise prediction of the rainfall. Also, we can utilize the drainage, the facilities, also the irrigation pond, and also paddy field itself. Paddy field can store the water. This shows the operation of the irrigation reserves. So normal conditions, we store the water for the water supply. But for flood controls, we could do the pre-release water stored for water supply to temporarily secure capacity for flood control. Something like this. Also, we can use paddy field to control the flood. Okay. We set a kind of the very simple, the land of control border in the paddy field. We can store the rainfall in the paddy field. Then it might reduce the runoff from the paddy field to the downstream water bodies. Then paddy field can contribute to the flood control, like this. To implement this, the integrated river basins management, that we need the participation or the involvement of the all stakeholders. Mechanism is needed that enables them to, all stakeholders, to share information, exchange opinions on challenges, and diverse all the related needs and discuss a future vision for the regions. It's not easy, but we should, establish the exact tool or the forum to integrate all stakeholders. Cabinet Office now implemented cross-ministerial strategic innovation promotion program, SIP. One of the themes is developing of resilient smart network system against natural disasters. One of the sub-themes is realizing damage mitigation by maximizing storage functions within the river basins. Okay, we can utilize many state-of-the-art technology to operate the facilities for flood control. And also we can utilize many, accurate data from the satellite or the other monitoring systems. One of some theme is development of remote and automated technology for emergency operation of sluice gate and drainage pump stations in agricultural land. The drainage facilities for the agriculture could be used for the basin-wide, the smart drainage. Then we can say smart drainage management. Today's main theme is the smart water management. The smart water, smart irrigation is to be introduced by Mr. Takano later, but here also we are implementing smart drainage. Then I try to sum up the Japanese challenges. As an important point, I would like to emphasize, which is not always widely recognized, in Japan, flood and drought often occur in the same seasons. To address in this unique challenge, we have developed integrated dam operation where some reservoirs were used primarily for flood control, others for water supply during drought. And importantly, they are operated in coordination across the river basins. This coordinated operation allows us to reduce flood risks and secure water supply and improve overall system resilience. Another important innovation is that the use of agricultural dams, irrigation ponds, and even rice fields as a part of flood management. These measures reduce peak flood flows, enhance groundwater recharge, and support ecosystems. This is a clear example of moving from individual optimization to overall optimizations. What lessons can we draw for global applications? I would highlight 4 actions. First, strengthen the coordination across sectors, stakeholders, and borders. Number 2 is share data and knowledge, including early warning system and risk information. Number 3 is invest in long-term resilience, not only in infrastructure, but also in governance systems. And number 4 is empower local stakeholders because resilience is built at the community level. Let me conclude with a simple message. Water connects us. Risks are shared. And solution must also be shared. Integrated disaster risk management is not optional. It is essential for sustainable development, the climate adaptation, and global stability. By aligning governance, technology, and community action, we can move from crisis response to risk management, and from fragmented effort to collective actions. That's all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Vatanbi, for emphasizing the importance of collective action and resilient water management in addressing the challenges of an uncertain future. Ladies and gentlemen, from Japan, we will now move to Central Asia. Well, Uzbekistan, we will to learn from a remarkable journey of improving irrigation efficiency and water management practices. I now invite Dr. Vadim Sokolov, who is the Vice President of ICID Uzbekistan and Head of the Agency for Implementation of IFAS projects. He's an expert in engineering hydrology, water resources management, and irrigation in Central Asia. And the topic of his presentation is Achievements of Uzbekistan in Efficiency Increasing of Irrigation and Water Management Sector. Dr. Vadim Sokolov.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I am very happy to be here, and thanks to Central Office and Dr. Gupta and my colleagues and friends from ICID. Last time I was in Delhi about 30 years ago, so that's why for me it's something special to be here. And of course, after two presentations about Indian experience with irrigation and scale of irrigation in India, Uzbekistan maybe looks not so big. But what we are doing now in our country is, I think it's very interesting and very unique. First of all, Uzbekistan is a unique country from point of view of geography, because only two countries in the world are land double-locked countries. To get the ocean, we need to cross as a minimum two countries. Only two countries in the world, Uzbekistan and Liechtenstein. So Uzbekistan located in the heart of central, in the Eurasian continent. And today, a lot of messages about climate change, especially in our country, we feel climate change very sharply because it's sometimes weather, behavior of weather not predictable, and also one of the specific of our country that only about 10% of water which we use in different sectors originated inside of our country. So 90% of water which we use coming from neighboring countries, and it's generated outside of our country. And unfortunately, sometimes we cannot control availability of water resources. From this point of view, again, this is also one of very important specific why our government and last decade, our Ministry of Water Resources pay very special attention to a program addressing to water saving, increasing of efficiency, and changing all structure and governance system and system of water management. Also, Uzbekistan and Central Asia is one of the place of ancient irrigation. Majority of infrastructure which we have today was constructed, for example, last year during our ICID conference in Kuala Lumpur. One of the structure from Uzbekistan was recognized as historical heritage canal, which was constructed about 1,500 years ago. So today it's a huge infrastructure. Again, majority of this infrastructure was constructed during Soviet times, about 80, 50, 60 years ago. And efficiency of water management and water use is very low. So that's why we have, today we already listened that, for example, in India, under the national program was covered more than 75 million hectares of irrigated lands. In Uzbekistan, we have only 4.3 million hectares, but it's use about 80% of water irrigation. And I ask you to pay attention in the right side. You see how during last 5 years we changed allocation of water use between the sectors. So irrigation in 2021 was 90%. Last year it was already 88%, so 2% less. And we increase water for drinking water supply. Industry, due to innovations and more effective technologies, industries now also use less water than before. And fishery, we also increase water. So why and how it's happened? In 2020, President of our country approved concept of water sector development for coming 10 years, 2020-2030. This concept included 11 priority directions for further development and improvement and to make more water management in more innovative way. And this concept included 3-year strategies. The first strategy, 21-24, already completed, and today we are in the second step in implementation of this. Our strategy, if possible to say national strategy, addressing to water management. Also, very important that during the first 3 years of implementation of this concept, we completely changed our water legislation. And last October 25, President adopted and we adopted a new water code, which completely changed the whole structure of water management. For example, there is a chapter 52 in this water code, which changes the structure of water use priorities. If before the first priority, and today also it's drinking and health, on the second place was agriculture. So today agriculture is last one. And on the second place it was put ecosystem demands. But nowadays our Ministry of Water Resources faced with some problems how to supply ecosystems with water, because we discovered that not proper methodologies and proper mechanisms of assessment how much water we need for ecosystems. So this is also an interesting challenge. Also, in 2023, when we already were on the way to implement our water strategy, President approved a new national strategy, Uzbekistan 2030. And first time, inside of the national strategy appeared a special chapter addressing to environment and water. And 4 targets were included also in this national strategy, which also we water managers and water experts trying to take into account. And now, what are the results of our 5 years very intensive work to improve efficiency, to increase capacity of irrigation sector? So, if due to national statistic, national water cadastre, average annual intake in Uzbekistan during last decade, 2011-2020, was about 53 billion cubic meter annually. So it's enough, a huge amount of water. And during last 5 years, it was established a special industry inside of the Ministry of Water Resources. 62 new factories were appeared, which started to produce, locally produce 20 types of water-saving technologies, including drip irrigation, different films, tubes, discrete sprinklers, and etc. And moreover, you know about that Aral Sea disappeared. Instead of Aral Sea, we have a desert. On the bottom of Aral Sea, we discovered some gas, and due to mining of this gas, was constructed a polyethylene factory. So all, because before polyethylene we imported from Russia, from China, and most of irrigation equipment, drip irrigation, for example, different pipes, tubes, we imported from, and it was very expensive. So today, due to our own polyethylene and factories which we established in Uzbekistan, all equipment now is 2 times cheaper. And today, these 62 factories, their capacity is about, we can cover about 500,000 hectares annually by modern equipment which produced inside of Uzbekistan. So as you can see from the figures which in this slide, last 5 years, average annual flow was 8.6 billion cubic meter less than it was last 10 years. So only during 5 years we covered about 2.6 million of irrigated lands by the modern innovative technologies. Within 5 years we covered 650,000 hectares of by drip irrigation. So it's much more than, for example, today in Israel. So during 5 years, we achieved such huge achievements and results. Also, about 50% of irrigated lands in Uzbekistan supplied by pumping systems. And irrigation sector of Uzbekistan used about 20% of national electricity. So during, again, 5 years, one of the direction of our water strategy was addressing to modernization of all pumping stations, huge number of stations, equipment. Also, we started to implement local new technologies like solar, wind, and etc. So from this, again, slide, you can see that if in 2017, total consumption of irrigation sector was about 8.3 billion kilowatt hours, last year we reduced up to 6.4, so 25% during 5 years, 25% of irrigation sector started to use electricity. Also, we do a lot of activities for civilization, so digitalization. We created a big number of information systems which nowadays under implementation and use in the system of water management. I will not stop to all, but this digitalization, like it was demonstrated in the presentation Vice President Watanabe, they really help us to change our behavior and our outcomes of our water management. Also, big attention and big we pay to capacity building of water sector, addressing to water users. We have big number of farmers. We have about 80,000 big farms, and we have about 1 million small private farms. So this 1 million of small farms, which have about 1-2 hectares of irrigated lands only, so they produce about 70% of food basket in our country. So in 2022, Ministry of Water Resources established a special water saving school with support from Agrobank and Institute of Irrigation. So today, huge number of water managers and huge number of water users, they covered by activity of this water saving school. In which province we have the branch of this school. Also, similar school we opened on the border with Afghanistan, especially for Afghan water managers. And Uzbekistan nowadays has a very good contacts and cooperation with our neighbors, which not recognized officially by United Nations and World Society, but as you know, Afghanistan started the construction of a huge irrigation system in the northern part of Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan now trying to assist our neighbors to do this in a more efficient way, to minimize water use, which as I mentioned, Uzbekistan depending on water from our neighbors, and if Afghanistan will build and put into management of this system, this system can reduce inflow through the Amudarya River by 15%. So if we will assist and do some land reclamation and more efficient construction of infrastructure of this system, so we can minimize up to 2 times this number. So also my agency together with a special project supported by Swiss government, we created a number of handbooks and special methodological material for this school. Also, we got some assistance from Ministry of Education. Some of these handbooks and were approved for use them in the universities and in the colleges. And today, all new technologies, new innovations in water management now are achievable by the young people through these systems. So Uzbekistan is very proud to be in family of ICID, because again, ICID opened for us gates to knowledge and experience from our friends, our colleagues, especially from India, from China, from European countries, from Spain. 2 times we organized special field visits to Spain about 10 years ago. So we learned experience which also Marka today presented some of cases. Also we visited some similar places. So also as today's first session was called as a dialogue, unfortunately it was only 5 presentations, but no any dialogue. And I would like to mention that it was very interesting to listen a presentation from ICARDA, from FAO, from Hydrological Association. So you created a very proper system of knowledge and experience addressing to water challenges. Yes, we have today direct direction to struggle against of drought, climate change, but again, climate change always was mentioned that this is increasing of temperature and less precipitation. But Dr. Watanabe mentioned that unfortunately climate change is not only drought and less precipitation. Sometimes we have unpredictable things. For example, last week in Tashkent, it was storm rain. During 1 hour, appeared 3 months norm of water in Tashkent and Tashkent district. And all farmers were very affected by this rainstorm. From this point of view, in your systems of how to improve and address issues, for sure we should include these unpredictable things. We should account them because they also sometimes have very big negative impact to real-time irrigation services. And also on experience from Uzbekistan, I would like ask also you, all FAO, ICARDA, to the component of capacity building. Please don't forget to include cultural and traditional heritage because it's also very important because sometimes from the past experience and technologies which we will equip by more modern innovative approaches, so we should not them forget, and they will help us also to do in a more efficient way of water management. So thank you very much, and again thank you for cooperation.
Thank you, Dr. Sokolov, for sharing how sustained reforms, innovation, and efficient water management can transform irrigation systems and deliver tangible results on the ground. Well, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our exploration of global best practices, we now turn to Nepal's experience in transforming traditional irrigation systems into smarter and more resilient models. It's my pleasure to invite Mr. Sanjeev Baral, Vice President ICID and Director General, Department of Water Resources and Irrigation, Nepal, to deliver his presentation on transforming traditional to smart irrigation system, learning from Nepal. Dr. Sanjeev.
Thank you. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present some of the experience of transforming traditional to smart irrigation system in Nepal. If you see the water resources availability within the country, we are rich. However, if you see the spatial and temporal variation, it is very challenging. Like in terms of water availability, 225 billion cubic meter of surface water and 13 billion cubic meter of groundwater is available annually. If you see the per capita water availability, it's quite good, 7,000 meter cube per capita per annum. However, because of the dry season flow is only around 12.5% available, and during the monsoon 4 months, 80% of the flow is available, which results different flood events. So based on this distribution, temporal and distribution, spatial distribution, the management of water resources is quite challenging. And if you see the irrigation development status, out of the 3.5 million hectare of agricultural land, only 2.5 million hectare of land is irrigable. Out of that area, around 1.5 million hectare, in the 1.5 million hectare of land, we have developed some form of irrigation infrastructures, out of which around only 1/3 of the irrigation system developed area has received year-round irrigation. That's why we are facing the irrigation management challenges in the country. If you see the irrigation development history in Nepal, like our irrigation system are quite old, and the royal canals and very from the primitive stage of development, there was irrigation development history, and it has proceed different stages of moving from preliminary phase to infrastructure development phase and intensive development phase, and again after that in 1986 to 2006 we focus on integrated development phase, where irrigation infrastructure development, management, as well as agriculture and irrigation coordination has been focused. Recently, after 2006, we focus on managing the spatial and temporal variability of water resources. That means the development of large interbasin water resources project from water surplus basin to water deficient basin, where if in Nepal, the most of the irrigation infrastructures are located in the water deficit basin. So from major rivers to medium river, the diversion of the project has been focused. And after that phase, we focus on nowadays more towards the climate resilient infrastructure and how to achieve the year-round irrigation in the agricultural land, and production and productivity increase, and obviously in small form of smart irrigation system by integrating some of the technologies. So our focus is more towards the modernization of the existing traditional systems. Like our traditional systems are, they obviously the management issues, operations issues are there, and efficiency issues are there, and performance is low performance are there in the traditional systems. But if you see the traditional systems are good demonstration of indigenous knowledge and management techniques, and the farmers are very dedicated to run these systems. So in these traditional systems, we focus on the modernization of the infrastructures. For example, by conducting the lining of the traditional canals, adopting some of the regulating structures, rebuilding the headworks, and also some integrating some of the technologies. So which results some of the increase in efficiency, performance, and nowadays our focus is in some very few pilot projects. We have started to translate that modern structures into the smart irrigation by adopting some technologies which previous delegates already mentioned. Especially we focus on the field level SCADA system development and data integrations, and the automated discharge measuring and water control system. So our farmer managed irrigation systems are quite unique, and we have very large number of farmer managed irrigation systems. So more than 6,000 farmer managed irrigation systems are still prevailing. And if you see in the Nepal's system. Around 70% of the farmer managed irrigation systems are total, out of the total irrigation area, 70% are still there. So these are mostly community managed and self-governed, and like these systems are exist in high mountain area, hills, and in the Tarai also. So these are the some old pictures how they have initiated the irrigation systems. And now these systems are gradually intervening for modernization and transferring to the smart systems by introducing the solar panels, solar pumps, and some drip irrigation projects, automated discharge measurement system, and soil moisture controlling systems. So in the more than 100 years old, one of the irrigation system is Chandra Canal irrigation system. This is the first agency managed irrigation projects having 10,000 hectare command area. So this the modernization effort has been recently completed under the support of JICA, where we focused mainly on modernization of the existing infrastructure, control structures, lining, and water management, increasing the water management practices. So these are the interventions conducted in the first AMIS project. And recently, in one of the national pride project, having 36,000 hectare Babai irrigation projects, we jointly work with IMI to introduce some of the smart irrigation technologies, like mainly we focused on the flow measuring installation of the flow measurement devices and soil sensors, and allocating the irrigation water based on the actual soil water requirements. So in this system also we established some of the flow measuring equipment, and established, and field sensors are established, and the main thing is the capacity and training has been conducted to the farmers to use and to realize when and how the next irrigation need to be done. And based on these things, we have developed one information system dashboard to see the overall changes and performance of the smart irrigation initiatives. So, another aspects of policy transformation in our country is like to transfer translating the existing area-based water distribution system to volumetric system. This policy departure is very challenging to implement, because existing infrastructures are designed based on that. So we have been working to change into the volumetric system delivery. So for this also we have been introducing some of the technologies for water discharge measurement and distribution system. And another one of the largest FMIS is Rani Jamara irrigation project. The total command area is around 33,000 hectare. Especially if you know, the Karnali River is one of the very big river where in the Rani Jamara Kularia irrigation projects, there were three subsystems, and farmer themselves diverted the water from that big river. But later on we intervened, and we developed side intakes, and discharge around 100 cubic water is diverted, and hydropower station is also injected within the systems. So this FMIS was translated or modernized introducing the developing very good canals, infrastructures, hydropower integration, energy integrations, and these are the, and also SCADA linked water management practices has been initiated. So from these Rani Jamara irrigation projects also, we increased significantly the irrigation efficiency within the system. Water efficiency increased around 20 to 30%, and reliability. The main thing is, diverting from huge irrigation, huge river. Sometimes there could be like huge problems of diversion, and they could not get irrigation from the systems. But after construction of the intake, we achieved the reliability. And the main thing is the Water Users Association participation and their contribution is significantly increased, and crop productivity is increased. And after the modernization effort, the people started to pay the operation and management fee in the system. So recovery is increased by 100%. These are some of the things we achieved from modernization effort. And we recently updated the previous irrigation master plan. Actually, it was prepared on 2019, but approved on 2024, updated. And where our focus is more on water management aspect, and obviously development of the large basin diversion projects, and some of the focus is the technology integrations, innovative approach, and transforming this system into the smart irrigation system. So based on these things, our focus is like we mainly focus on the 4 area nowadays. Like first is in the existing systems, how to transform, or how to increase the water management, how to increase the efficiency in the existing system. First is the that aspect. Second is how to complete the large multi-purpose and interbasin diversion projects on time. And third is, as you know, our country is the hill area, hill and mountains are quite significant. So hill irrigation is one of the major component where basically lift irrigation prevails, and in the groundwater system also. And integrating these things, our focus is to achieve the year-round irrigation with a higher efficiency level. So this is one of the simple, small, smart irrigation interventions we practiced in Gomati, Bahuntar, small irrigation projects. It is area is only 21 hectare, but like all the open channel flow is transferred to the pipe systems with automated valves, and the data management is quite all controlled by the central server. Dashboard system has been developed, and we from that also what we achieved is in a small hill irrigation projects also, if we transfer into the smart system, then the water saving is significant, and the agricultural productivity, and main thing is the satisfaction of the farmer is quite high, and they started to cooperate with the agencies. That is the important learning from this small system. And for hill and mountains, we have around 468,000 hectare of small patches of irrigable land is potential, where we need to focus on the lift irrigation system. So our focus is also integration of electricity and solar system in these systems, and use of modern pumps like smart pumps in these systems, and distribution systems, how to convert into the pipe systems, and to have increased efficiency. So this is about about lift irrigation. And in groundwater irrigation projects also, if you see like in the Tarai area, about 318,000 hectare of area is potential for groundwater. And the existing use of groundwater is very low compared to the available resources. So we have started to integrate the solar pumps in the groundwater systems, and like conjunctive, our focus is conjunctive use of groundwater and surface water resources, like to use the available water resources optimally. Actually, in the Tarai regions, we are facing drought issues. So groundwater recharge and other things are integrating, and so the pumping for the actual requirement is there. And at the same time, we need to focus on the effective regulations, which we have been doing to maintain the, to control the over exploitation of the groundwater. And in a small, like in a high Himalayan area or mountain area, the sprinkler and drip irrigation we have been developing in a micro level. So these are very effective in the small irrigation system in Nepal. So these are the experiences, and these are the small lessons. Like we need to focus on the capacity development aspects while thinking about the smart irrigation system establishment. The farmer participation, their ownership is very important, and policy support. We need to harmonize our policy, and by using the smarter technologies, smarter systems, the gradual shifting of better performance towards the better performance is noticed, and we are at the very primitive stage of shifting from the modern infrastructure towards the smart irrigation infrastructures, because we are still intervening the traditional systems to modernize with some performance integrations. So and for this effort, for this journey, continuous effort is needed. With this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baral, for sharing Nepal's inspiring journey and demonstrating how traditional irrigation systems can be successfully transformed through innovation, technology, and community engagement. Lejeune, our next presentation will further enrich this global exchange of experiences by offering another unique perspective on advancing smart and sustainable irrigation management. Please join me in inviting on the dais Dr. Alok Sikka, an internationally respected expert, emeritus scientist, and former country representative, India and Bangladesh at the International Water Management Institute. He's also an expert in hydrology, watershed management, and agriculture water productivity. His topic is smart irrigation for resilient water system with a lens of water, energy, food nexus. Dr. Alok Sikka.
Thank you very much. And before I move forward, because Dr. Gupta wants me to finish in 5 minutes, because the times others have taken, he wants to penalize me. Anyway, I can do that. I'll try and do, but maybe not 5 minutes, and but not 20 minutes as well. I think, let me see. Please raise your all hands. I hope that everybody is attentive. Huh? Good. That's like good guys. So anyway, I'll be talking about, my job has been made much simpler, because the focus of what my colleague Deepak and I are trying to share is basically not about the smart irrigation which everybody has been talking about, so I'm not going to talk about that. But the point is that when we are doing the smart irrigation, which is pretty much required, we have to also see that how we examine that and look at it from the water energy food nexus angle. So that to make one thing right, other things should not be kind of made topsy-turvy. So that's the kind of a thing. So we need to have a balance. So we are looking into it, modernization, smartness with a lens of water energy food nexus. And so this is something that, I do not know, where is this? Can you, Oh, oops, okay, it's there. All right, so anyway, I'm not going to talk about this. Perhaps we all know the purpose of this slide is just to indicate that the way now our irrigation, particularly in the South Asia and India and per se, is that, as the secretary also mentioned in the morning, that there's a lot of dependence, increased dependence on groundwater irrigation. That also comes with energy. And we also know, as I have been told, that in India, on average, like the overall irrigation efficiency is around 35%. Now, if with the supply-demand gap in agriculture and the future divergence to agriculture are going to be likely to be reduced, what you need is to enhance the irrigation efficiency, and for that, the best way forward is smart irrigation systems. And so that is where it's a necessity, and I think we are moving in that particular direction. I'm not going to talk about any detailing about what is this smart irrigation like, because I think since morning we have been listening to this. Many presenters have already made the presentation. The minimum basic point in this is that what we are going to do in smart irrigation is that we are looking into many gadgets, sensors, remote sensing data, all the kind of satellite data, and going forward also using the AI and ML to train the things to try and see how best we can do the irrigation scheduling. Based on the soil moisture sensors, because I remember that long time back, one of my colleague and professor from Utah State, when he was in Columbia, he visited here and he wanted to set up a project. And that time he thought of doing this irrigation scheduling based on soil moisture, but the sensors were not really so cheaply available. And now, of course, the things have changed. So the idea is that how best you can digitalize, as people have been talking since morning, so that you can automate it, you can be more precise in doing application of the water at the right time, in the right amount. Because these are the kind of a thing, when to irrigate, how much to irrigate, and how to irrigate, and that's something that we are talking about. Now here, these are the various technological ensembles which are there. What you see on the right-hand side bottom, this is something which has been developed at the MPKV Rahuri, right? Starting from the plot size field scale to the device registration, and then how best, even at the plot scale, the precision irrigation can be done, linked with the satellite and the weather data. And of course, these are the various sensors which everybody is talking about. This is another simple thing where we have been talking about the alternate wetting and drying method. So the ICR Institute of Water Management in Bhubaneswar, they have come up with a very simple device, because I knew the people, they use the pani pipe to look into that AWD. So there they have made it very simple automated system, and where you can do the automation to run the alternate wetting and drying system. Again, these are the various simple things, because when we are talking about smart irrigation, it can be divided into two phases. One is infrastructure, which is getting your water up to the field. Another one is on-farm or on-field water management. And that is where all this, what we call agricultural water management, and those are the practices which everybody has talked about. The major gap is between the canal management, canal operation, and on-farm water management, because they don't talk to each other. And now, with all this kind of a digitalization, we are trying to see, and for that matter, my colleague and I and our team have also developed a water productivity DSS, which provides a kind of integrated link between the canal management and also the on-farm management. Those who are interested, they can always talk to us later on. Again, it's not necessary that we always go for a very high-end gadgets or high-end soil moisture sensors. What you see are the simple chameleon sensors, which we have put up already in Odisha. And also, this is the picture, if you see, from Ethiopia, where we have been doing even the waterfront indicators. And the idea is that not that you don't have to really put the sensor in each and every farmer's field. You can put it at few representative sites and let the messaging be done from there for the others, depending upon how best you can find the representative sites. And this is the result which shows that by doing that, you are economizing on number of the sensors, and at the same time, by transmitting the information, still you are showing, having a good amount of water saving. On the right-hand side panel, what you basically see is that you can do even the precision irrigation with the surface methods also, like the wind surfer. Because if you have a laser land leveling and you design your systems of irrigation, so that's the kind of a way that this is something on the right-hand side. You see this image we have demonstrated in Pakistan. This is what I think in the morning and just in session, the member Central Water Commission, Mr. Paithankar, was talking about on the right-hand side, MCAD scheme. I'm not going to talk about that because he has already given the explanation, because there the point is that right at the 1 hectare level, in the lowest cluster, you are giving the pipe under pressurized irrigation, giving a 20 meters head, which can operate even mini sprinkler, not just because drip you can operate even with a smaller pressure head. So that's the kind of duty doing in a blister. And there, as he mentioned, you are following all participatory process. And the final point in there is the irrigation as a service provisioning. And this is something I think we have to really look into, that irrigation as a service provisioning and a service provider. Then I think we are going to be really moving forward. And what you see on the left-hand side is one of the latest ADB project in Mohanpur, Kondalia in Madhya Pradesh. And I think if you happen to visit, this is really one of the beautiful project. I visited about a couple of months back, and really what is being done with all the SCADA system and at every farmer's field level, that how the control system is really working. It's not that only, even at the farmer's level, we have been working in Maharashtra with a farmer who is a progressive farmer. There also he has been having all these gadgets. The point which I wanted to make was basically that you do all this smart and modernization, but you have to look at it, you have to evaluate it with the angle of water, energy, food, and nexus lens. Because sometimes what happens that we may be optimizing the water, we may be conserving the water, but that's at the cost of food or at the cost of energy. Maybe we are doing more energy disproportionately, and the amount which you are saving is far less than that. So that's the kind of a thing that we wanted to see, that how with this water, energy, food lens, you can try to assess and evaluate using this framework how your modernization or smart irrigation systems are working on aspects of all these three elements. And this is something where you can minimize the trade-offs, you can increase the synergy, and at the same time, it is not that you are only focusing on just on the water saving, but also you are looking into the saving in terms of energy as well as not at the cost of yield. So that's the kind of a synergistic relationship that we are trying to do, because the smart irrigation is working at the interface of water, energy, and food. So that is why we have to see that how best we have a balancing act. This is one of the systems where we have worked out how to really compute the nexus, estimate the nexus. Theoretically, we all have been talking about. A couple of years back, we and IMI developed the way forward to try and see that how best we can really put them in the numbers game. So these are the, on the right-hand side, what you see, that's the nexus there when you move from furrow to sprinkler to the drip irrigation. If you look into the siloed approach, which is there in the middle, you will find a different number, because it may say, okay, water saving is there, but perhaps not the energy saving. So if you try and look into with a nexus, like the bottom line, if you see, there it shows that how in totality, looking into the entire three things, it is really behaving. So this is something that we are trying to do here in this case, that we take all those three elements, the three pillars, water, energy, and food, and in this case, we are trying to see their availability and water productivity, energy productivity, and the food productivity, and putting them, making a composite index. Also, you can have a water, energy, food separate indices. Once you have this thing, you can put them into the radar chart, polygon chart, or anywhere, and then try to see that how really it is behaving. Now, this is just a hypothetical example, and I would request anybody who is working or installing any kind of a smart irrigation system, because now even in MCAT, when the data starts becoming available, we would be happy to put all those systems through this framework and try to see what you are really getting out of that is really positive from water, energy, food nexus. Means whether there is a nexus gain or there is nexus negativity. If there is a negative, we can also say what we should do to make it nexus positive. So the idea here is, this is a hypothetical example with 10,000 hectares which we have taken, and if you see the irrigation water use reduced from 120 to 90 MCM, and accordingly then how much water saving is there and how much energy saving is there, and with all those numbers which we have simulated, and in the radar chart on the right hand axis, see that the blue line shows that what was the situation before on the entire polygon, and now with after we have done the smart irrigation systems, how it has been. Ideal is that it should be same 1, but it is now gone from 0.4 to 0.82, so we are heading towards that. So the idea is that this will give you a quantification, the quantified number, rather than talking in kind of a theory. And so this is something that we wanted to develop and demonstrate with you, that how best this will bring the synergies, and wherever we find that any or none of these three pillars is kind of obscured, there are a number of ways. Sitting on the left-hand side, we can tweak that in order to see that how best we can correct the imbalance and make it more nexus positive towards the nexus gain. And so this is something that I suppose I urge that those who are working in smart irrigation and irrigation modernization must look into this kind of framework to look into it in a more balanced way and in totality. So I leave you with the key takeaways, the fact that this kind of a framework is needed, and whenever we are doing any modernization and a smart irrigation systems, we better run it through this kind of a framework, so that to look at it on a sustainability on a long-term basis, and also that trying to see that nothing is skewed and they all are in a very balanced form. So this is something that we wanted to convey the message through this presentation. Thank you very much. Dr. Gupta, I think I have not taken more than 12 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zika. Thank you so much for maintaining the time for us, and also in such a short but absolutely effective way demonstrating how smart irrigation technologies can help achieve greater productivity with every drop of water. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very thankful to all our speakers, and we are very thankful to all of you for being very patient with us. Can we have a warm round of applause for all our speakers and for all of you? Thank you. And we would also like to felicitate all our speakers right now. For that, I would once again request President ICID, Dr. Marco, to kindly come forward. And I would request all our speakers to join us on the dais. We would, starting with Mr. Yogesh Paithankar, member CWC India. Thank you so much for your presentation. We would like to present all our speakers with our memento. May I request Mr. Vivek Kapadia. Thank you for your presentation. And so do stay back with us for a group photograph. Now I invite Professor Dr. Tsuhiro Watanbe. Thank you for your time. Like to felicitate Dr. Vadim Sokolov. Mr. Sanjeev Baral. Thank you, Mr. Baral, for your time and presence. And of course, Dr. Alok Sikka. May I request Mr. Sokolov to kindly, Mr. Sokolov? Dr. Vatanvi and Mr. Sokolov, could you please come back on the stage for a group photograph? For a group photograph. May I have all of you kindly please forward on the dais for a group. Dr. Sikka, would you please join us for a group photograph? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. And may I also request, we'll take a short break now for 15 minutes. And I request all of you to join us back at 4:20. And please also do visit the exhibition area. Our exhibitors are there, so do visit the exhibition area. And please join us back in time at 4:20 for our final session of the day. We look forward for your timely presence. Thank you.